June 18th, 2020 meeting of the Southampton Town Zoning Board of Appeals. This meeting is being held via video conferencing in accordance with Governor Cuomo's Order 202.1. And until further notice, all of the board's meetings will be held remotely. So we ask the public to continually check the town's website for updates and new information. There are also options on the website for public comments and to pre-register to speak on public hearings. So please consider that for all future meetings. If you wish to view tonight's live meeting only, please do not join the Zoom meeting. Please go to the town's meeting portal, choose the meeting group from the drop down on the left, and click on the live link at the top of the page. If you wish to be heard during a meeting but did not pre-register, please go to the town's meeting portal, choose the meeting group from the drop down on the left, and you will find the information required to join the Zoom meeting. With that, I'd ask that you all join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty
and
and justice for all.
Starting this meeting with the decisions tonight, as one of our board members has to leave the meeting early. Then we will move on to the public hearings. We have applicants and members of the public standing by via Zoom, which is being moderated by CTV. Charles Certain will be muting the speakers until it is their time to give testimony before the board. A reminder that applicants, agents, and members of the public speaking, other than attorneys, will be sworn in, will state their address for the record, and will offer their testimony as it relates to the application before the board. Board members who must recuse themselves from any application will state so on the record and will be removed from the meeting until the end of the hearing. Unless otherwise stated at the end of each hearing, all of these applications, the applications that we have on for tonight, will remain open for written comments from the applicant and the public until July 17th, 2020. Those comments can be addressed to the board secretary, Candace, and sent via email, mail, and or dropped off at town hall. Additionally, in accordance with the governor's order, these hearings will be recorded and will be posted on the town's website. Please also note that for any written submissions that are due to the board by July 3rd, 2020, town hall is closed that day. So make sure that they are either dropped off in person before July 3rd, being by July 2nd, or emailed to Candace, which they can be emailed to her by July 3rd. And with that, I would make a motion that we to approve the minutes, or I should ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion moved.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Mr. Hahn.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. DeSessa.
Aye.
I'm not sure if Mr. Tuthill is on at this point.
He is.
He's
Yeah.
trying to, yeah.
Okay. He's 902.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if you can hear me. So anyway, I
can
votes
hear
aye.
you.
So minutes are approved.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Keep votes up. All right. So we're starting. Keith, can you hear me? Yeah, his connection is seems to be a little off. Okay. All right. So I have some decisions. I just want to make sure that Keith can hear me. I'm not sure if he can. Okay. I'm going to start with Isidro. The decision on the application of Dean Isidro. This is property located at tax number 926-145. This property is located at 1 Lily Pond Lane in Sag Harbor. The applicant has asked for variances for a swimming pool and to connect an existing garage and shed to the dwelling. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State town law. Therefore, this board grants the following relief from the town code. 1, for the proposed swimming pool. 33011, residential districts table of dimensional regulations for an accessory distance from street setback front yard of 11.1 feet, where 110 feet is required from the southerly lot line, Lily Pond Drive, Town Code 33076D, placement of accessory buildings, structures, and uses in all districts, and Town Code 33083C yards to allow the swimming pool to be located within the required front yard of the principal building. And 2, for a proposed addition that will connect the garage and shed to the principal building, relief from Town Code 33115C, continuance for a principal front yard setback of 4.9 feet where 30.6 feet is existing. These variances are granted for structures as shown on the survey prepared by Jeffrey W. Hatterer, surveyor of Twin Forks Land Surveying, dated October 29th, 2018, last revised May 9th, 2020, and the plans prepared by Joseph T. Deppy, architect, dated January 9th, 2020. The grant of the foregoing relief is conditioned upon the maintenance of the existing hedges shown in the aforementioned survey that screen the proposed pool on all sides by the applicant and all subsequent owners of the premises, and is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. DeSassa,
Aye.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Hahn, Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill,
He is no longer with us.
no longer with us. Okay, so we can't hear him right now. Chair votes aye. All right, next I have a decision on the application of 47 Crescent LLC, tax map number 900-115-22.17. This property is located at 47 Crescent Avenue, Watermill. The applicant is requesting reduced setbacks to construct a trellis and berry enclosure around an existing garden. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code 33011, Residential Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory rear yard setback of 9 feet where 30 feet is required, and an accessory side yard setback of 10.5 feet where 30 feet is required for a proposed trellis with berry enclosure, as shown on the survey prepared by Stephen Barilski, surveyor, dated March 23rd, 2018, last revised October 8th, 2019, and the plans prepared by Stacy Marshall Patzel, registered landscape architect of Marshall Patzel, dated April 15th, 2019, last revised April 26th, 2019. This decision is conditioned upon the applicant and all subsequent owners of the premises maintaining the existing privet hedge as indicated on the survey in order to screen the structures. Granted, the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Motion.
Okay, so I guess that would be a second. Okay. Mr. Hahn,
Aye.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. DeSessa.
Aye.
I'll try Mr. Tuthill again, but I'm not sure that he's on.
Try Keith, because he is trying to get on, he said.
Okay, Mr. Tuthill. Yep, he's trying to get on, but he's not on yet. Okay, so chair votes aye, and we'll just keep going. The next is the application of 20 Riverly Avenue Court. This is Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-138-230. This property is located at 20 Riverly Avenue, Riverside. The applicant has requested variances to use the third story for office space and for a parking variance for the conversion of the space. This action is an unlisted action, and this board adopted a negative declaration. This property is located within the Riverside Overlay District, and the project passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code: 33095, schedules of off-street parking space requirements for non-residential uses, to provide 55 parking spaces where 69 spaces is required. Town Planning Board has waived 31 spaces pursuant to Town Code 330-100, exemptions and waivers of parking and truck loading space requirements. and 33034 Business District's Table of Uses Regulations to allow the attic/storage area to be converted into office space, which will result in a third story or a maximum of 2 stories is permitted, as shown on the site plan prepared by Raymond G. DiBiase of LK McLean Associates, PC, dated January 2018, last revised November 27, 2019. Elevations prepared by Ronald Capella of Ronald Capella Architecture, dated May 10th, 2018, last revised December 5th, 2018. And floor plans prepared by Ronald Capella of Ronald Capella Architecture, dated November 27, 2019, last revised March 10th, 2020. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired and may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Okay, Mr. DeSessa,
Aye.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Hahn,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill. Still no Keith. Chair votes aye. Okay, I have one more. Actually, 2 more. We have a decision on the application of Marla and Michael Rothstein. This is Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-345-21. This property is located at 43 Tiana Circle, Hampton Bays. Applicants request setback variances for a proposed pool and dwelling. The location and size of the pool were reduced and modified at the request of both this board and the Conservation Board. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law. Therefore, this board grants the following variances from the Town Code. 1, for the proposed swimming pool, relief from Town Code 33011, Residential Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, for an accessory front yard setback of 20 feet where 70 feet is required from the northerly lot line, Elder Avenue. And 2, for the proposed 2-story dwelling, relief from Town Code 33083K yards for a proposed rear yard setback of 22.1 feet where 30 feet or where 35 feet is permitted. And Town Code 33084D pyramid height for a proposed encroachment in the amount of 328.5 cubic feet on the southeast side of the dwelling, all for structures as shown on the survey prepared by Kenneth Bochuk, land surveyor, dated April 2nd, 2018, last revised March 3rd, 2020, and the plans prepared by architect Michael Morbillo of Inspire Design Group PLLC, dated March 24th, 2017, last revised March 3rd, 2020. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired and may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. DeSessa. Mr. DeSessa.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Hahn.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Keith is out. He can't get on, so.
Wow, okay. All right, chair votes aye. So do we need to adjourn Glass?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right, so I would make a motion that we adjourn the decision on the application of Glass Ventures LLC until our July 2nd meeting.
Second.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. DeSessa.
Recuse myself on that application.
Okay, Mr. Hahn,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
chair votes aye. And Brian, you have us to checky.
Yes, I have a determination in the matter of the applications of Anthony J. Dwyer, Phyllis Dixon, Barton Dixon, Jennifer Doyle Lennox, Roy Lennox, Michael K. Marion, Bobby Lynn Grund, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-78-1-20.1. While a much longer decision will be filed in the town clerk's office next week, Katie will email copies of the full decision out tonight after the meeting to the attorneys on all sides of the matter. There are 2 applications challenging the pre-existing certificate of occupancy issued to premises located at 1205 Majors Path, North Sea, also known as the Stahecki property. As the board recalls, neighbors brought these appeals to the board, asserting that the property owner / contract vendee did not have sufficient proof that a pre-existing use remained on the premises and that in fact it had been abandoned. After reviewing the testimony and evidence from both sides and from the public, this board finds that the appeals were timely made. Further, this board finds that there was not a sufficient showing of abandonment. The use of the premises for receipt only of organic material is pre-existing. As such, pre-existing certificate of occupancy C190097 dated April 2nd, 2019 was properly issued and filed and remains valid.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Mr. Assessor,
Aye.
Mr. Hahn,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
No.
Chair votes no. Okay, and actually, before we get started, we do have to do, I don't think we did adjournment. So we can go to those next. Whenever you're ready, Brian.
I'm sorry, which one, Adam? I didn't hear you.
Sure. I guess before we get started with applications, we didn't do adjournments yet.
I didn't see the adjournments. I apologize. I can read them. I didn't
Yes,
see them on the agenda.
Okay.
Which ones, Katie?
Number 1 is going to be re-advertised for August 6th, so you don't have to read that.
Yep, and we don't have to vote on that either since it's re-add.
Thank you.
So it's just the other decisions.
Yep, the decisions, the first 2, Levin and Luce, we're going to, I guess, reopen those for written submissions due on July 29th.
That would be my motion.
Okay, so first a motion to reopen. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. DeSessa,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Hahn.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it is reopened.
Okay, then accept written submissions until July 29th with a decision on August 20th.
That would be my motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. DeSessa,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Hahn.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
And then Jack Bartle may adjourn that decision until July 2nd.
I'm recused on that application.
Okay. Oh, so I'll make the motion that we adjourn that until July 2nd.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Cornelius, I think you might have been recused on that one too.
Oh, I recuse myself from that adjournment then. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and with that, we can get started with the applications, I guess, starting with number 2.
Okay, going to number 1 on the agenda.
Number 2.
Number 2 on the agenda. Okay, application of Gary Blankoff. Property is located at 137 South Road in West Hampton, Suffolk County Tax Map 100 76-132 for a proposed 1-story garage addition to an existing dwelling on a non-conforming lot. 1, section 330-115C continuance for a principal minimum side yard setback of 10 feet where 14.42 feet is existing, and for a principal total side yard setback of 24.42 feet where 41.09 feet is existing. 2, section 330-84D pyramid for a proposed encroachment in the amount of 217.75 cubic feet and any other relief necessary.
The board has jurisdiction. I think this is Daphne Vaughn's.
Okay. Good evening. Daphne, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you, but I can't see you at the moment.
Oh.
But that's okay. So I just need to swear you in. If you can just state your name and address for the record.
Daphne Vaughn, Surfside Environmental Planning, 225 Montauk Highway, Mauritius, New York.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, I can see you now. So you're going to tell us about the application.
So just to preface this, I was thrown this application about 2 weeks ago because the original agent became ill, so bear with me.
If you'd like some more time and to come back later in the year, we're happy to do that.
No, I believe I'm ready. I just
2 weeks.
Just want to give
Little
you.
joke, Daphne, that's all.
So the proposed project includes construction of an attached two-car garage to an existing single-family residence that already has an existing one-car attached garage on the subject property. The garage addition is 827 square feet and is shown at a 10-foot side yard setback as well as a 48.88-foot front yard setback. The property is currently zoned R40 and is non-conforming at 24,048 square feet, where 40,000 square feet is required, and a lot width of 126.16 feet, where 150 feet is required. So I did a look at historical zoning, and it was zoned B residence, 25,000, and had just a one-story residence back in 1957. They were granted a variance under the B zoning setbacks in 1966 for a breezeway and a one-car attached garage, ironically on the west side of the property, not the east side. So the variance was for a 13-foot side yard setback where 15 feet was required. There's been a number of renovations and permits on file with the town over the years. The property was upzoned to R40 in 1972 when it became non-conforming to the zone. So the single and separate search that was submitted with the application originally from January of this year indicates that it's been held in single and separate ownership since 1954, so prior to 1957. So I believe that this should be eligible for B residence setbacks because of that. In March of 1995, they also received a variance, which was decision 9639 it was actually from R40 setbacks, that variance for a similar shaped attached two-car garage that was to be located 24.6 feet from the side yard. The garage was not constructed at that time. They actually did a smaller project in 2003 for the one-car attached garage as an office for an owner who was an architect at the time, with a side yard setback of 26.67 feet, which was greater than that prior variance. So right now, the owner wishes to construct the additional garage area to his house for his high-end vehicles. The addition should qualify for that B residence zoning based on the single and separate. So I believe it would require the variances as follows: from 330.11 for front yard, where 50 feet is required, to 48.8 feet, so a 1.2 foot variance. Minimum side required is 15 feet. We're asking for 10, so a 5-foot variance. Total side is requested to be 40 under B. We're looking for 24.4 feet, so that's a variance of 15.6 feet. Additionally, there's a small pyramid variance that's necessary for this of 217.75 cubic feet on the east side of the garage. The current owner, Mr. Blankoff, purchased the property in 2018. The adjacent property located to the east is vacant and wooded at the present time, and the proposed garage would be located forward of the existing residence, partially within the existing driveway.
Hold on one second. Matt, don't share your screen right now. Thank you.
Katie, can you put up the cross-section of the garage or the survey again, please?
I can only put up the survey. That's all I got. Hold on.
Okay, that's fine. How tall is the garage, Daphne?
How tall is it? It is 16 feet at the highest point. I think it's actually less than that. So it runs parallel to the angle of the property. If you see, it's kind of a trapezoid shape.
And it looks to be
So-
28 feet wide.
In the front. Yes, I believe it is.
It's a 2-car garage.
28 feet in the front, and then it goes back to 17 and a half in that back part. Yeah, so it's a 2-car garage with some extra storage space.
I mean, and your pyramid is in that corner where it's 10 feet off, correct?
Well, yeah, the whole thing is 10 feet off, but only a portion of it, I guess the front portion is the part that's more non-conforming than the back.
Right.
Daphne, how large is the original garage?
The existing one is a 1-car garage that I guess is a standard width. I'm not sure exactly. Hold on. Let me see if that's in here. It's a 12 by 23, or 12 by 24, I guess, 23.8.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you move this to 24 feet across the front, you'd eliminate the pyramid. It just seems like a really big garage because it's like 28 by 37. So, you know, it's just a big garage.
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned too. We're basically approving a
A
whole
big garage.
3 garages,
Yeah.
3-car garage.
It's like 900 square feet or more, yeah.
I just think you need to move it to maybe 17 feet on the front or something like that so that you can eliminate the pyramid and do a little better on the total side. But I'm just one person, and I think a typical 2-car garage is 22 by 22, somewhere along those lines. I think we can do a little better because then it would increase the minimum side yard, total side yard, and eliminate the pyramid.
I'm with you, Brian.
Yeah, I'm
I agree. I agree, Brian.
I also have a question. My question is, why are there 2 air conditioning units between the garage and the property line? What do they serve? Is that what AC stands for, air conditioning?
Yeah, I would assume. I mean, it's a fairly large house, so I assume that they're going to relocate them, because actually, if you look closely at the survey, they're already existing on that east side of the house, so they're going to relocate them basically to the east side of the garage.
Okay. Because they, looking at this originally, they look like they would be serving the garage, and
There's other air conditioning units on the other side of the house.
Yeah, there's one on the other side.
yeah. So that's
We'll see if anyone from the public is.
Yeah, but for that, just wanted to ask Daphne, have you heard from any of the neighbors?
No, I have not.
All right. Any other
Daphne, is it part of a subdivision? You keep on saying it should be entitled to B zoning. Is it part of a subdivision?
You think so? I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay,
Maybe?
well, it's not entitled to B zone if it's not part of a subdivision or.
I'm okay, Daphne, with the overall concept, but I just think it needs to be tightened up a little bit and
Right.
shrunk down from that 28 by 37. Yeah.
too big.
All right, any other questions or members of the board? Is there anyone from the public who's waiting on Zoom to be heard? If so, you need to be put on. Charlie, do we have anybody waiting on this application, do you know? I'm not sure if Charlie can hear me.
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay, Charlie, is there anyone waiting on this application to be heard? Do you know?
They can unmute themselves. I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. All right. If not, Jason, it's yours. We just have to figure out, you know, where we want to go from here, whether we want to close the written subs or whether we want to have Daphne come back.
I don't know, how does the board feel? Do we want to do
I'd like Daphne to come back with a revised survey that indicates the comments that some of us have concerns about in terms of the garage and anything else. Can you do that, Daphne? Can you come back?
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Only, well, that's two people. Do we have other people who want Daphne to come back?
Yes, I could
Yeah.
agree.
I think
Okay.
if there's going to be a revision to the plans, we should have her come back.
Considering that it's kind of looks like it's going to be significant changes, I think it makes a lot of sense. Daphne, the only difficulty we have is our schedule. So on July 2nd, we have 13 on. July 16th, we have 16 on. So how much? Well, first of all, how much time is it going to take you to, you know, revise the plans? I would think that that's going to take a little bit of time anyway.
I'm not really sure. Like I said, I just inherited this like a few weeks ago, so I'm not really sure how quickly that can be accomplished.
Okay. Well, what I'm thinking is I would have had it be July 16th if we didn't already have 16 on. But July 16th is pretty much full, so 8/6 would be the date we'd want you to come back.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to attend this application for all purposes till August 6th, 2020.
Second.
Mr. Hahn,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Burgess, Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Mrs. Assessor,
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Daphne. I'm not sure whether you have any more tonight, but
I do.
you do. Okay, and we'll see you again shortly.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Number 3 on tonight's agenda. TICI LLC. Property is located at 53 Oak Grove Road, North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-31-1-7. Applicant requests relief from Town Code Section 330-34D pyramid height for a proposed encroachment in the amount of 6,312 cubic feet, 2,226 cubic feet to the east, 4,086 cubic feet to the west, for a proposed addition to the existing one-story dwelling on a non-conforming lot, to wit, a full second-floor addition over the existing dwelling. 2, a proposed one-story addition with second-floor covered porch above the west side, and 3, a proposed two-story addition on the north side, and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction.
Good evening.
Hello.
Let's see. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
That's good. So as you know, just have to swear you in. So if you can state your name and address.
Susanna Herman and Consultants, 1319 North Sea Road, Southampton.
And you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay. So if you tell us
Susanna,
about the application.
Susanna, do you want to share your screen or do you want me to bring the survey up?
I don't have a full-size survey, so if you could show the survey, and then I do have some photographs that I'd like to share later.
Okay.
So if we can start with the survey.
All right, I gotta see if I can find it. Here we go. Let's see.
Yeah, if you can scroll down to show the house. There we go. Okay. So the property is located at 53 Oak Grove Road. It's 10,898 square feet in an R15 zoning district. The house is pre-existing non-conforming, being built prior to 1954. The existing one-story house is only 921 square feet. It's located 7.1 feet from the western property line and 13.7 feet from the eastern property line. So we're proposing a second-story addition over the existing footprint with a very, very small cantilever, which is about 2 by 14 feet, and a very small addition on the rear. So it says proposed 2-story addition. That's only about 30 square feet. So the total addition to the footprint is only about 59 square feet, which brings the total footprint up only to 980 square feet. So we're requesting pyramid relief in the amount of 4,086 cubic feet on the west and 2,226 cubic feet on the east, for a total of 6,312 cubic feet. The property is encumbered with several hardships. It's obviously an undersized lot at only 10,898 square feet. It's undersized for the zoning district. It's also pie-shaped, as you can see. It's only 85 feet wide at the street, but in the location of the house, it's only about 59 feet to 68 feet wide. It varies, you know, it gets wider as you get closer to the street. Obviously, we're going up over the existing house. It's also located within wetland jurisdiction. This is on Fresh Pond, so a wetland permit was required from the Conservation Board, which also prevents any practical location for expansion beyond going up or expanding in the immediate vicinity of the existing house, which is what we are proposing. So it's within the character of the neighborhood to have a 2-story house. Even with the 2nd-story addition, this will still be one of the smaller houses in the neighborhood. It'll still be under 2,000 square feet at about 1,960 square feet, including the proposed additions. As I'm sure you're aware, this is Bayview Oaks. Most of the houses are 2-story houses in this area. Yeah. There's no significant impact on the adjacent properties. I want to try to share my screen.
Okay, hold on. Susanna, do you have a COM board permit yet?
Yes.
Okay.
We have Conservation Board, we have Health Department. All right, you see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. This in yellow is the subject property. So the affected properties on the adjacent properties are this one to the east and this one to the west. To the west, this is the driveway of this residence here. And on the east, this is actually under the same ownership. This is owned by the individual and the subject property by the LLC, but it's the same individual, same family. So I wanted to point out in this photograph as well that this house is only 38.6 feet from the street. So it's up in this area. And the houses on either side are about 135 feet back from the street. So we're not going to be right next to either of those adjacent houses. So we're not going to be infringing upon their light and air. It won't be very close at all. So again, this is the same owner on the east, and this is the driveway to the property on the west.
Can you put up the sketches, Susanna?
Yeah.
For a cross section?
Yeah. So that's the floor plan. Here's the elevations here. So this is the western side of the house. And that's the area with the larger request for pyramid relief. That's 4,086 cubic feet here. As you can see, it's mostly roof. And we have the existing setback of 7.1 feet here. And the other side,
Seemed like a lot of, but how high are those ceilings? Because it looked like you had 11 feet of roof which is causing a lot of that pyramid, which could be reduced.
The ceiling height, I have the architect on here, Tony Panza. Tony, do you know that off the top of your head? The roof heights?
And I'd have to swear Tony in, which is fine. Tony,
Okay.
can you hear us?
Hello.
Hi, Tony.
Hi.
So we have some questions for you, but we just have to swear you in. So if you can state your name and address for the record, please.
Tony Panza, 29 Turtle Pond Road, Southampton, New York.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. So I think board members had, Mr. Assessor had a question about the ceiling height on the second floor, I guess both floors.
The elevations are noted on the right side of the drawing that Susanna has there. There's nothing out of the ordinary about them. Just waiting for them to come up on my screen.
Sure. It appeared to me that the first floor is 10 feet, the second floor is 9 feet, and then there's about 11 feet of attic or ceiling.
So it's a 9-foot ceiling on the first floor. It's a 10-foot floor to floor, and then you have a it's actually it says, well, it's saying it's 19 feet to the top of the pitched roof, but some of the framing is in that, so the ceiling is actually only about 8'6".
So,
and then the attic in this instance is basically being used for mechanicals. There's no room between the two floors for mechanicals.
but that's 11 feet up there at the peak.
Yeah, if you go to the side elevation, it's just due to the width and the pitch that's on the roof.
What's the pitch of the roof?
The 12.
Pitched roof, elevation 19.
That's a lot of relief in my mind for the roof design. I mean, I'm not saying to do a flat roof design, but your pyramid is not driven out of any interior programming or livable space. It's all, I don't know, other things that I think could be like dealt with some other way to reduce the amount of relief. In my mind, it just seems like a lot of relief for that.
Well,
I feel the same way.
As do I.
I think you're asking for too much relief. And I'd like you to go back and see what you can do in revising the plans. I would like that.
Okay, if I could just mention, if we due to the length and the width of the house, right? The house is, as a normal house would be, let's say, parallel to the street. So the narrow dimension, which is where the gable roof is, if we were to lower the pitch to something like a 6, which might not be as pleasant to see, we would somewhat reduce the volume. But because the gable is only 7'11" from the existing side yard, we're not actually able to extract that much out. We would have to turn the roof 90 degrees so that we would be taking less of the volume out of it, which would be a very strange, at that elevation there. Imagine the roof pitch going the other direction.
If it went the other direction, though, you'd cut at least half or more of the pyramid relief out, and you'd still have the space up there for mechanicals.
Right, but now you're putting the pitch for the gable in the opposite direction of the house, right? You're putting it in the long dimension of the house rather than in the short dimension of the house. So if we were to make it a gable, then the gable would rise even higher.
Well, Tony, frankly, I'm not really concerned about that. It's too much relief. I'm not in favor of it. Whatever you want to do to try to reduce it, that's between you and the owner, frankly.
And Brian asked about the ceiling heights. You could play with the ceiling heights and see how that could make an impact.
Whatever they want to do.
And whatever it is, so at the end, your need for relief is less than what you're asking for now.
Yeah. So, and Susanna, I'm sure you're listening to all this. So right now it's 6312 cubic feet. I think you're hearing from the board that we want that number significantly reduced.
Is this in a FEMA zone, Susanna?
The property is, but the house location is not.
It's in an X, right?
What's that?
The house is in an X zone?
Yes.
The house is in an X zone.
The house is in an X zone, yes. So we are in wetlands jurisdiction, but we are beyond, we're not required to raise the house for FEMA. We're in the X zone.
Did you see the comments that were written by Dennis O'Rourke? I'm not sure if there's anything that addressed them in there.
I did not.
Should I read them?
Please.
Chair?
Please.
The pyramid design shall be revised to indicate the average natural grade by using spot elevations using NAVD 1988. Taken at the corners alongside of the facade wall of the building structure adjacent to the nearest street, shown on a survey, and the architect or New York State licensed design professional shall calculate the average using the spot elevations as stated and draw the pyramid line from all property lines using the grade plane as applied to the subject structures on the lot. Note this average elevation, the setbacks from the property line, and amount of encroachment cubic feet must be indicated on the pyramid drawing. This method will establish a grade plan and form the basis for calculating the volume of encroachment. The applicant shall submit this information in order to verify the accuracy of the diagram and pyramid calculations. Now, I don't expect any of you to remember that, so we'll have to get that to you, I guess.
I understand what he's saying, and I think that's what Tony actually did.
Yeah.
The lot is totally flat in the building envelope, so I don't think these numbers are going to change. I think you may just need to add the spot elevations to the drawings.
Okay.
I think that's the only thing you're missing. But yeah, I understand the way that I understand what Dennis is requesting.
Okay.
I did want to show you just some additional photographs of the site in case you haven't gotten a chance to get down there. This is, can you still see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a view from the street. There's a mature hedge along the street. There's also a very mature hedge along the western property line and a gigantic tree located here. So there is a lot of screening that's built into the site already. This is the adjacent driveway, which is just to the west of the property line. That's another shot showing the hedge and the tree.
Okay.
So it is very well screened. It's set back very far from either of the adjacent homes. And it is a very, very modest addition. That's looking at the back of the house from the water side. Again, you can see the large amount of vegetation there.
Right. So if we had pyramid relief, Susanna, of 3,000 cubic feet instead of over 6,000 cubic feet, I think probably we would be okay with it. But it's just the volume that is of concern to members of the board. So I guess you and Tony can figure out what can be done to reduce that number. I think in order to get to 4, it needs to be a significant reduction. But you can figure that out. But in the meantime, wanted to ask if there were any other questions from members of the board or Katie. Okay. I wanted to then ask if there is anyone from the public who's waiting to be heard on Zoom for this application, which is Tiki LLC for property located at 53 Oak Grove Road in North Sea. Charlie, do we have anybody waiting? Do you know? Just giving it, a half a minute. If anyone wants to come on, this would be the time. Okay. If not,
I see none.
hi, Charlie. Do we have anybody waiting?
I see none.
None. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I guess the only other question is, Susanna, like the last application, we've got a scheduling or agenda problem with our, in terms of when you're going to come back. So I'm presuming, I didn't ask yet, I would think that we want the applicant to come back. Is that what the board
Yeah.
would-
I would,
So,
I would.
Yeah.
Okay.
With new plans.
Okay, all right. So we have 13 on July 2nd, so I think that's pretty close to full. July 16th is 16, so we're already full. So really, our next available meeting would be August 6th.
And we can't come back on July 2nd?
You could come back on July 2nd, but you know, it's going to be, you'd have to have everything ready to go by then. Do you think you could do it that quickly?
Modify the elevations? Yes.
But I think we're kind of crowded for that date, aren't we, Adam?
Well, we're at 13. We have like 2 more we could put on. This would be 1.
That's fine.
and just to be clear, we're not just talking about modifying the elevations, we're talking about the revised plans.
Well, do we necessarily have to revise the second floor? We're talking about reducing the volume, which would be in the amount of second floor is very minimal that's in the actual pyramid.
Correct.
The roof.
Yeah, if you feel you could be ready by then sure, why not? By July, what is it, July 2nd?
July 2nd.
That's correct.
Next meeting.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so with that, Mike, the application is yours.
So we will keep this open for all purposes and see you with modified drawing on July 2nd.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Assessor,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Hahn.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you both very much.
Thank
I'm not
you.
sure whether we have any more with you tonight. Okay, if not, have a good evening.
Aye.
Thank you.
Fellow board members, I'm going to
Tonight's agenda.
excuse myself.
Okay,
All right. Enjoy.
okay. Have a good night, Mike. Take care.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
4 on tonight's agenda, Stephen Lavino. Applicant is 1792 County Road 39 in Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-177-2-25. Applicant requests a determination that the subject parcel, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-177-2-25, is held in single and separate ownership from all adjacent parcels and is thus entitled to relief pursuant to section 330, 115D and any other relief necessary. Katie, should we also open number 5?
Sure. Wait, let me just say the board has jurisdiction.
Thank you. And application number 5 on tonight's agenda. Stephen Lavino, property is located at 11 Arbutus Road, Shinnecock Hills. Applicant requests a determination that the subject parcel, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-177-2-26.1, is held in single and separate ownership from all adjacent parcels and thus entitled to relief pursuant to section 330, 115D. In addition, applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code to legalize a shed with attached porch constructed without the benefit of a building permit. Section 330-11, residential district table of dimensional regulations, for an accessory side yard setback of 9 feet where 20 feet is required, and accessory distance from street setback, front yard, of 61.4 feet where 70 feet is required. 2, section 330-76D, placement of accessory buildings and structures and uses in all districts, and 330-83C yards, to allow the shed to remain in the required front yard on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. I think Rob Marcinsick is here for this.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you, Rob. How are you?
You guys are apparently, I'm being told that my video has stopped. The host has stopped my video.
Wow.
You didn't want to see you
Whatever
tonight,
reason.
Rob.
I don't know what I did. You got a quick glimpse of me. Maybe they didn't like what I was wearing, but whatever. In any event, I'll just proceed anyway. The subject property is located on the south side of County Road 39 at the southwest corner of County Road 39 in the unopened portion of Arbutus Road in Shinnecock Hills. It's comprised of approximately 31,863 square feet and is located in an R40 zoning district. This is an application for determination that that parcel is a single and separate lot under the Southampton Town Zoning Code, and it did not merge with an adjacent 28,314 square foot lot, which is the lot which is, I can start my video now. It says, there I am. All right. It didn't merge with the lot known as 11 Arbutus Road, which came to common ownership as a result of the applicant's spouse's death in 1999. That's the parcel at 11 Arbutus is the one with the one-story house shown on the survey. 11 Arbutus Road was acquired by Stephen Lavinia and Judith Lavinia, his wife, in 1979. The couple resided in that parcel and owned it as husband and wife, joint tenants by the entirety. The excuse me, adjacent property known as 1792 County Road 39 was acquired separately by Stephen Lavinia 17 years later in 1996, and Mr. Lavinia held sole title to that parcel. Under the 1957 zoning code, these two parcels were located in a C residential zone, a zoning district requiring a minimum lot size of 15,000 square feet. However, in 1972, there was a change in the zoning code, and the area was upzoned to R40, and as a result, the two parcels became non-conforming as to lot area. They were held in single and separate ownership continuously after the applicant required the house parcel in 79 and the vacant land in 96. However, the applicant's wife died in 1999, and the properties merged for zoning purposes when the applicant failed to put them in single and separate ownership within 3 years of his wife's death, pursuant to 330-115 after the zoning code. As I said, the property known as 1792 County Road 39 is a vacant wooded residential parcel. 11 Arbutus is improved with a single-family dwelling with a deck, attached two-car garage and a shed. I had submitted photos of each of those parcels yesterday. I don't know if you had an opportunity to look at them. I was told they might end up on some packet that you might receive, but in any event, by all outward appearances, these parcels are separate parcels. They were acquired separately. When the Lavinios bought the house lot, they had a mortgage on that. The vacant parcel was purchased later by the applicant for cash. They have always been used and considered by the applicant to be separate parcels, and they've been virtually unchanged for all intent and purposes since the applicant's wife died in 1999, which brought about this inadvertent merger. They have separate street addresses, separate tax map lots under the Suffolk County tax map. They are similar in size to other parcels in the area, so we would submit that returning the parcels to the way that they were will not create an undesirable change in the neighborhood. I'd also submitted a copy of the Suffolk County tax map for that portion of the area, which shows they are very similar in size to other lots. Basically, the applicant just wants to put them back to the way they were, and as a result, we don't feel that they're not, putting them back into non-conforming parcels that should be considered to be a substantial variance. Additionally, we have a letter that I submitted into the record yesterday from the adjacent neighbor to the south, which basically is in support of the application. That was submitted yesterday. Don't know if you, again, had a look at it, but that was they said, submitted in full support of the application. I know that there's a single and separate that has been ordered for both of these lots, which I do not have yet. I know that you guys generally have a written comment period, and I assume that sometime in the next week or two, I will be receiving a single and separate for the two lots, which I would submit into the record at that time. If you just want me to move on to the shed portion of this, or if there's any questions with regard to the single and separate determination.
Sure. So when we get the single and separate, we'll take a look at it. As long as there are no issues other than what you covered, we should be fine.
Okay.
But if
Understood.
Some other
Rob,
common ownership issue, then we have to address that. Yeah.
Was there a mortgage on the house lot when he
Yes.
acquired the vacant lot?
No, there
It was paid off
there
by
was
that time.
The vacant lot was bought for all cash 17 years after the house lot. The house lot had a mortgage, which is obviously he's owned the house now for over almost 40 years, I guess, over 40 years.
Yeah.
So there is no mortgage on it anymore. But it was at one time when they first bought it, there was a mortgage on the house lot, yes.
Okay.
Which did not encompass or was not the.
Right, the
vacant lot.
adjoining lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Rob, I think you otherwise covered the analysis that we have to go through. The vacant lot was not used. It remains vacant land. I just wanted to quickly take a look at the aerial. Nothing is showing as being on it. Looks pretty vacant to me.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. Okay. All right. So I think we have the information we need. Have you heard from any of the neighbors?
Other than the neighbor that submitted his letter in support? No.
Nothing else. Okay.
Nothing else. Nope.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, go ahead. I don't know how you want to.
Tell us about the shed.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. The shed has existed on the house parcel as shown on the survey for several years with no apparent impacts to the character of the neighborhood or nearby properties. Again, I had submitted some photos of the shed to give you an idea of what it looks like. It's 150 square feet. There are several other, let's say, storage structures in the area that we would submit are also in non-conforming locations. There is a shed that is located on a property directly across Arbutus Road from the subject parcel. The address is actually 61 Hilltop Road, although it's right across from Arbutus from the subject. There's a shed on there in a non-conforming location. It is much closer to Arbutus Road than what the applicant is requesting herein.
Wow. So we don't know whether that shed has approvals or not.
I would tend to doubt it. I
Really?
looked to see if there was anything, not that I'm casting aspersions or anything.
Right.
At the neighbors. Never do that.
Could be pre-existing non-conforming.
Could be. Very well could be. It's an old looking shed, to be perfectly honest with you.
Okay.
Okay. Also on that same parcel at 61 Hilltop Road, that property was given a front yard variance, by the zoning board to 30 feet and a rear yard to 12 feet for a swimming pool in 1981. So the front yard variance that we are requesting here is a setback of 61.4, which is more than twice the setback that the zoning board gave the owner of 61 Hilltop Road for a swimming pool in 1981. I did also submit a copy of that variance that was issued into the record as part of my exhibit packages. Wish I knew how to operate Zoom a little bit better. I would have pulled it up, but I can't do that. Lastly, as far as other nonconformities in the area, 19 Arbutus Road, which is next door to the subject parcel. There is a storage structure on that property as well in a driveway, which is located in the front yard. Again, it appears to me to be much closer just by eyeballing it to Arbutus Road than what the applicant is requesting. I had included a copy of that storage structure as well in my exhibit packages, which the board can take a look at when it gets the chance. The location of the shed where we're asking it to be is the most practical location on the property for the applicant. It's positioned in a non-conforming location between the dwelling and the street, but it's positioned such that it gives the applicant the most residential utility. It's used to basically store garden tools and machines, and most of the gardening that is done by the applicant is done by his gardens that are located in proximity to the shed in the front yard. He also has a couple of sons who often come over and borrow some of his machinery, so having it, again, right next to the driveway where they can back up and put things in their own vehicles to borrow them is also useful to the applicant. It's much easier there than in the back of the property. The property basically goes up as you go from, I guess, east to west, and I had sort of included a photograph of the slope of the property. Basically, there's a very narrow path that leads from the asphalt driveway, which is shown on the survey, to the backyard. That is relatively narrow, and it's actually somewhat steep. So going up and getting tools or machinery in the backyard, which would be a conforming location to bring into the front yard, poses somewhat of a problem for the applicant. And because the driveway is so close to the northerly property boundary line, the shed can't really go off the side yard any more than 9 feet. It's basically right up against the driveway right now. It can't go any farther to the west because there's a garage underneath the house, and putting the shed more to the west and away from the street would create a problem pulling in and out of the garage, which is below the house. We would submit that the variances that we're asking for are not considered substantial. The front yard is really only 8 feet 6 inches, which is a 12% deviation from the standard. The side yard is 11 feet, which is a 55% deviation from the standard. But again, as I had said, it's we would submit that it's the least variance that we're looking for in order to alleviate the difficulty that the applicant has here.
Rob, just one thing that
Go ahead.
there. For the file, I just didn't see it, and we're working in difficult times. Did you submit an estimate of what it would cost to relocate this to?
Yes, I did. Yes, I
okay,
did.
I just didn't see that in the packet. Okay, and just for the record, just want to make sure I was there.
It was $99,350. There's an estimate from Michael B. Neal Construction. Again, that was submitted with the exhibit package. Right there.
Okay.
Perfect. I just it's a little difficult in this new age.
And also, I
didn't see it and wanted to make sure it was there.
Yeah. No, and this, I think, in looking at it from the street as well, which I took a picture of the location of the shed from the street. It's well screened. You can't really see it from the street.
Yeah.
But also say that this property is located at basically it's the last property. It's a dead end. Arbutus Road does not go all the way out to County Road 39. Road ends right at the northerly property boundary line of the house parcel there. So, you don't get a lot of passers-by anyway. And even if you did, as I said, they would be somewhat screened. The shed is screened from their view. There's also, again, same neighbor that had submitted a letter in support for the merger issue. It also, submitted a letter in support of this application for the shed as well, I might add. So that's basically all I got with respect to the shed.
Okay. Well, a couple of things from my perspective about the shed. The first thing is that the adjacent property owner that is impacted by the shed is the owner, is the applicant, because at least currently. That's the first thing. So that's worth noting. The second thing is generally, I often say this about when it comes to sheds. Just because everybody in the neighborhood decides to put up sheds in non-conforming locations without approvals in my view, a character of the neighborhood argument, unless all those sheds got variances
Exactly.
or pre-existing non-conforming.
Nearly what it is.
I
Character of the
understand.
neighborhood
I understand. But unfortunately, a lot of people put up structures without approvals, especially sheds. But that having been said, the impact would be on the applicant, not on any of the neighbors, when it comes to the shed.
So I don't have a problem with the application as it stands. We'll see if there's anyone from the public, and then we can go into some other matters that I would ask you about.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions from members of the board or Katie?
Nope.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public who is waiting to be heard on Zoom in connection with the two applications of Lavinia? These are for 11 Arbutus Road in Southampton or Shinnecock Hills. And, well, I'm sorry. And then the other one is 1792 County Road 39 in Southampton. Is there anyone who's waiting to be heard? Charlie, do you know if there's anyone waiting? If you want to go on, this would be the
I see
time.
none.
None. Okay. Okay. If not,
so
you had the lead on these.
Yeah, I would just ask just for housekeeping. I think we need, you're going to supply the single and separate for us in a written submission, Rob. And then we would just need 2 separate surveys for each lot, so it could file the ZBA decision.
Okay. 2 separate of each lot. Okay.
Well, like each lot has its own survey, so when we make decisions, it's not referencing both
Okay.
in a written sub. And I would make that motion on behalf of Keith, if no one else wants to.
Sure. Okay. All
Rob,
right.
we have to keep the written record open pursuant to the governor's order, I believe Adam said, till July 17th.
July 17, so I've then to the latest to get them into you, I guess, correct? I could do it sooner. I'm just, if I get them, I'll give them to you.
You can get it to us sooner. We just have to keep it open. I think, Adam, is that right?
Yeah,
It's
July
not-
17th was the date.
Yeah, it's not the governor's order. It's been, that's been the practice that the board's been doing, because we're doing
Okay.
these meetings via Zoom.
Yep. So that people who have technical difficulties and being able to participate have an opportunity to at least give us written comments before we render a decision.
Understood.
Got it.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Already then.
So then the decision would be when, Katie, just on that?
August 6th.
Okay. That'd be my motion on behalf of Keith.
A second.
Okay. Mr. DeSessa,
Aye.
Mr. Hahn,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
and let me see. It's just the 5 of us. So chair votes aye, and that's on both applications.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks
you
a lot.
for being-
Have a good night.
You too. Take care.
See
Have
ya.
a good night, Rob.
Bye.
Application number 6 on tonight's calendar, Michael Costa. Is 668 Scuttle Hole Road, Watermill, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 1. The applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code for the location of a proposed tennis court. 1, Section 33011, Residential District Table of Dimensional Regulations, for an accessory distance from street setback, front yard, of 62 feet where 90 feet is required from the northerly property line, head of Pond Road, and for an accessory distance from street setback, front yard, of 62 feet where 90 feet is required from the southerly property line, Scuttle Hole Road. And 2, Section 33076D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and 33083C yards, to allow the tennis court to be located in each required front yard respectively, and any other relief necessary.
The board has jurisdiction. This is Bruce Anderson.
Okay, Bruce, are you on?
I am. Greetings to everyone, and once again.
Okay, good evening.
So this is relief for a proposed tennis court pursuant to 330. I'm not going to reread this.
It's going to be sworn in, Bruce.
You can state your name and address, please.
Bruce Anderson, Suffolk Environmental Consulting, offices in Main Street, Bridgehampton.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, now you can tell us about the application. Thank you.
Okay, so we've asked for relief from dimensional relief for a proposed tennis court as just elucidated by Mr. Josiah on a lot at 668 Scuttle Hole Road in Watermill. This is a lot that contains 2.5 acres, and it's located in a CR80 zone, which means it's conforming with respect to lot area. In creating this proposal, we were mindful to reduce the size of the tennis court to 114 by 55, which is the board's policy in such similar applications.
Close.
And we were careful.
Almost, Bruce, not quite.
All right, and we were careful to center it upon the lot so that it's equidistant from Scuttle Hole Road and Head of Pond Road. Both these roads are heavily traveled, as the board is probably well aware. And we've also provided the board with an aerial photograph which shows how the tennis court would work in the general neighborhood. And that should be in your view. So we on this 2.562 acre parcel is improved already with a single family house, pool house, porches, driveway. You will note that our essential problem is, while we're probably the only conforming lot in the area with respect to lot area, this is a triangular shaped lot, and that's where the practical hardship arrives. So maintaining a distance from the front lot lines of Head of Pond Road and Scuttle Hole Road are impossible because of the narrowing geometry of this lot. It culminates in the apex at the northern end where Scuttle Hole and Head of Pond Road join. We've provided you with a zoning map in your record, giving a synopsis of similar histories of variances, and so you can refer to that at your leisure. But what you will note is that we're among the largest lots in the area, and that you will also note that we're unique due to our triangular shape. So the requested relief is essentially dimensional, arising out of the shape of this lot.
Have you heard from any of the neighbors, Bruce?
Excuse me?
Have you heard from any of the neighbors?
No, I have not.
And you're going to adjust the size of that tennis court to 55 by 110?
If needed, we would.
It's needed.
Okay. So the surveys before you, I think it's fairly straightforward. We would submit that the variance would not cause an undesirable change in the neighborhood because the lot is wooded. And the purpose of our aerial was to show you that it's completely wooded, and that those woods are actually in large part evergreen. And so it's well screened from the road. And if you look at the surrounding neighborhood, you'll see that most of the houses, they tend to like to build them as far away from the road as possible because the roads are heavily traveled. So the tennis court is probably about 250 feet from the nearest resident across the street, as we scaled from Google. And we feel that due to the screening and its placement that there will be no undesirable change to the neighborhood. We also submit to the benefits we cannot be achieved without benefit of a variance, and that goes back to the triangular shape of the lot. And so we've reduced it. You know, it's surprising that you can have a 2.5 acre lot, which would easily support any tennis court of a full-size nature if the lot was rectangular. Here it's triangular, and that's our problem. We submit that the variance are not substantial in the relationship to the required setbacks. We're asking for 28 feet relief off of Scuttle Hole and Head of Ponds, which constitutes 31% of the requirement. and then that the granting of the variance would not have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood because of the lot is bordered by 2 heavily traveled roads, and the limited dwellings built in these roads are set back from the roads to the maximum extent, and because the lot is heavily traveled. In addition, board might take note that we are in the Aquifer Protection Overlay District, so we have no right to clear beyond what we're already depicting here for this tennis court. So that vegetated area around the tennis court would be maintained in any event. And so the benefit to us, the applicant, would be the ability to have a tennis court, although reduced in size. We think that outweighs any detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood, because we don't think there is any detriment to the neighborhood or community if this tennis court were built. And
Bruce,
that concludes my basic presentation.
If you go down in size like my colleague said before, I'm good with it.
Okay, and you want to go to 110, is that correct?
Yeah, by
5 by 110,
Done.
which is what we do. We don't grant variances for tennis courts that are any bigger than that, almost ever. And I also want to mention that the fact that this is a triangular lot is a significant factor requiring relief here. That is, there is no way of having a conforming tennis court on this lot, I don't believe, unless you put it where the house was located. And the other thing that's worth mentioning, we'll see if there's anyone who would like to be heard, is that to the west, the only residence looks a significant distance away, and in the east, it looks, the houses that are adjacent look a significant distance away as well, just like you mentioned in your presentation, because everyone's trying to stay away from the roads because of the noise, I guess. However, we'll see if we have any comments, anyone here who's waiting to be heard. Any other questions from members of the board?
No.
Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard this evening in connection with the application of Contacasto for 668 Scuttle Hole Road in Watermill? If you're waiting on Zoom to come on, this will be the time. Charlie, can you tell if there's anyone waiting?
Well, there's a lot of people, but no one's unmuting, so.
Okay. Okay. If not, Brian, it's yours.
Cornelius,
Yes.
it's yours.
Oh, am I taking this from you? This is, sure. Move to
Oh,
close
I have
public
Cornelius's
hearing.
name on the site. I thought.
What's that?
I'm sorry, I had your name on the agenda, but I see it's second
Oh, no.
agenda with my name. So
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, either way, it doesn't matter. Make a
I'll see your the public hearing leaving open for written that being a revised survey showing a revised size tennis court. The record will remain open until July 17th with a decision on August 6th.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Assessor,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Hahn,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
We will be quick to get you back a revised survey, and I thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Bruce. Have a good rest of your night.
Here now.
Bye.
Number 7 on tonight's agenda, 16 Dover Ave LLC. Property is located at 16 Dover Ave, North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-42-3-43. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code for a proposed swimming pool and proposed patio. Section 33011, residential district table of dimensional regulations for an accessory distance from street setback, front yard, of 51 feet, where 70 feet is required. And section 33076D, placement of accessory buildings, structures, and uses in all districts. And section 33083C, yards, to allow the proposed swimming pool and proposed patio to be located in the required front, and total side yard of the principal building on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. This is Sue Lou.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
we
Adam just needs to swear you in.
can hear you. Just need to, if you can state your name and address, please.
Siu Liu, 78 Main Street, Southampton, New York.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, if you can tell us about the application.
This application is, this lot is a non-conforming lot, it's a flag lot. And we need to choose the front yard, and we choose the Candles Road, Candles Lane, which is a 40 feet wide right of way. And we don't need relief for the house, but we would like to have a relief for the swimming pool, so that will be centered onto the house. And this neighborhood, the private road serves just a few residents, and 2 of them have relief for the swimming pool setback. And if I can share my screen, I can show you what other people got.
Sure.
Okay, share. You see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet.
There you go.
Okay, here is 16 Dover, which is the subject lot. This is the 1239 Noyak Road. This one is 1209 Noyak Road. And you can see this swimming pool has a setback relief. The setback they're seeking is the setback they got a relief is 20 feet. This one is also on this road. The relief they got is 38.6, I think. And then what we're asking for is 51, which is a lot further away than what they got for relief. So this is one of the relief. You can see 20 feet for in-ground pool. And then the other one is 38.2 feet for proposed swimming pool. So this one is 38.2 and this one is 20. And what we're asking for is 51. And I think what we're asking for is minimal, and it's not causing any undesirable changes to the neighborhood, because this private road is only serving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lots. Actually, no, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lots, because those are access from Dover Avenue.
Yeah. So we have 2 things going on with this lot. One is that it's a flag, and secondly, that it has this second front yard, essentially, or side yard, whatever the case might be. I think it's probably a combination. So that makes it difficult to put accessory structures on a flag in this situation without having to put it in either a front or a side yard. So, you know, this is something that we do grant. Not unusual for us to grant relief, that type of relief for a flag lot. And then the other thing is the setback relief itself, which is 70 feet to 51 feet. So, which, you know, that's, you know, fairly modest for an accessory structure in my view. On the other hand, I mean, I'm taking a look at it. It could be that we'll hear from a neighbor, but the thing is that the proposed pool is, the relief appears to be to 51 feet from Kendall's Lane. And it's pretty far away based on the aerials from any of the adjacent lots. But then again, maybe we'll hear from one of the neighbors. Have you heard from any of the neighbors yet?
No, not about the swimming pool, no.
Okay, okay, all right. So you know, unless we hear an objection from a neighbor, I'm not sure that I'm, you know, not concerned about the relief that's being requested. I do think it's reasonable.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable as well.
Good.
I have no problem with this.
Yeah, okay. All right, any other questions from members of the board? Is there anyone from the public who is waiting on Zune to be heard in connection with this application, which is the application of 16 Dover Ave LLC for 16 Dover Avenue in North Sea. If you want to join the meeting, this will be the time.
I see none.
Okay. All right.
Move to close the public hearing, leaving open for written submissions only until July 17th with the decision on August 6th.
Second.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Hahn,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. DeSessa,
Aye.
Josiah. Thank you and have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
Take care.
On tonight's agenda, Christoph Beletchin, 10 Corwin Lane, Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-259-1-24.2. Applicant requests relief from Town Code Section 330-11, Residential District Table, Dimensional Regulations, to permit a partial conversion of an attic
Did you finish, Brian?
where a maximum of 2 stories is permitted and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Looking for Nigel?
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members, Ms. Garvin.
Good evening.
My client, Mr. Bleach, is looking for relief from Article 330-11.
Nigel, I just have to swear you in.
Oh, sorry. Nigel Robert Williamson, P.O. Box 1758, Southampton, New York, 1971. Yes.
And you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth?
Yes.
nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us about the application?
Okay. Well, oh yeah. My client, Mr. Bleach, is looking for relief from Article 330-11 for a 3rd story for a proposed partial attic conversion, 382 square feet to a 3rd story recreation room. The property is located in North 40 zone. It is 9,818 square feet or 0.455 acres. The property was subdivided under a previous variance, ZBA number 9113, May 17, 1991, where a front yard was given of 29 feet and a side yard of 18.9. And in the R40, the total would be 60. It's located in a flood zone AE with a base flood elevation of 9. The existing finished floor level is 11.6 feet. The property is relatively flat from Corwin Lane to the rear line of the dwelling. There's a substantive rise from the rear of the dwelling to the rear of the property line. The septic is located at the rear between the deck and the incline. And also, if you see from the survey, there is the in-ground pool. There's pool equipment, a frame shed, a tree house, a patio, retaining wall, and that is all up on the west side where the incline is that runs to the road, also on the west side. There's an open modified administrative permit, wetland permit, number WAP 170106, to convert the attic to living area greater than 100 feet from wetlands. It will not cause an undesirable change or detriment in the neighborhood. The proposed ridge for the recreation room would be 2 feet 6 inches higher approximately than the existing ridge. The property is shielded to the north, to the east, and to the west by trees and vegetation. The benefit sought cannot be reasonably achieved other than an area variance. To add to the structure on the first floor would also require relief on setbacks. It will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. The proposed footprint obviously is within the existing footprint. And any other location will be impacted by a request for relief. And I did speak with the fire marshal, Mr. Rankin, a long time ago. And under the IRC, it would just require a sprinkler system from the recreation room right down to the means of egress, which would be the front door.
Okay, so I want to just talk a little bit about the relief that's being requested. Nigel,
Okay.
The first thing is why do they need a recreation room?
Well, if you look at the floor plans of the house, I don't know, have you got those?
Nope. I mean, I can't share them, but they might have them in, I don't know if they have them in their packets.
I don't think
I did submit them. I did submit the smaller scale. I could hold one up, but I have it a quarter scale. Basically, the house is roughly 30 feet wide and approximately 55 feet long, forgetting that the angle's cut off and it's a rectangle. As soon as you walk in, you come into a foyer. On the right-hand side, there's a powder room with a utility on the first floor because we're in the base flood elevation. All that floor is basically open. There's a dining room with a wall, a corner wall. The whole first floor is open. There's actually no privacy. There are 4 bedrooms on the second floor. Will I try and hold up the plan for you to see, or not really? It might be just.
No, that's okay.
On the second floor, the foyer, and including the powder room and utility, which is roughly 22 feet long by approximately 12.5 feet wide, 12.5 being on the 30-foot axis, the width of the house. That is the landing, and the second story is open to the first below. And then you have the master bedroom with a master bathroom. And you have 3 other small bedrooms which share 1 additional bathroom.
Is it possible for there to be an addition to the house, such as an addition to the south or to the west?
Correct. I had mentioned that. Yes, I had mentioned that. The only other, I would still be looking for relief. I think
I'm just speaking for myself. Okay. I think I might be much preferable for giving relief for expansion of the residence to having a 3rd-story attic into a recreation room.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Have we ever approved of any type of habitable space on a 3rd, like an attic or a 3rd story? I know I'm junior member to this board, but
only in certain circumstances. And usually the circumstance that primarily comes to mind is when you have FEMA issues and you have a lower level that's not functional living space. Right. So that what is the 2nd floor is considered a 3rd floor, pursuant to the building code. But when we don't have those kinds of limitations, it would be a flood zone, something like that. And even then, we don't always grant them, but that's generally, in my experience, when we do.
There have been a few where you've converted attic space. Sometimes when it's like there was a loft or something.
There has been.
Can I say something? Without a picture of that main floor that you said is all open, that openness could be part of that openness, could be the recreation area. You haven't shown me anything that makes it impossible. I don't have any pictures of the interior of the house.
Okay, I mean, I did submit them. again, the floor plan, first floor is basically a dining room, kitchen, and sitting area, living room. I mean,
I don't know how large that area is, you know, I mean.
Yeah. And Nigel, we didn't.
And if you need a recreation room, maybe you could do without a dining room. I mean, I don't know. Or as Adam says, you could add on, that would be, for me, a happier resolution to getting more space than going up. I don't mind you going and extending the downstairs.
okay, I mean, I will just have to talk to my client if that's okay about that. She may be on here. She said she was going to wait in the waiting room or whatever it is.
Nigel, would there be, if you did expand the house like Adam is talking, would there be an impact on the wetlands? I heard you say you did have something pending before Town Board.
No. We have a modified. Holy God, we have a modified. Where am I? We have an open modified administrative wetland permit that they gave already.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If you had to modify the house, where are the wetlands? Would it impact the wetlands if you had to expand it?
Correct. We'd be heading south towards the. Can you wait 2 minutes? Let me get my tax map book, and I can then.
Sure.
It's the 2 minutes.
Can anybody see where their wetlands are on the survey?
They're not
really
on the survey. It looks like they're 2 or 3 properties over, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it looks like the notation on the survey that they're within 200 feet, the property is within 200 feet or something. But
Got it.
it could cross a road, which would lead me to believe it's not, but let's see.
Okay.
They're heading south. There's a lot next to it, which is fully improved. Then next to that, there's a driveway. I think it's 20 feet wide to another lot. And there's another lot in front of that, which is onto Tiana Bay. So anything to the south, we're encroaching, or we're heading closer to the wetlands.
Right, because there's that line on the survey that says 300 feet high water setback.
Correct. Wait 2 seconds. We're 200, 300, 350, 360. We're about 380 feet, and that's along the road line. That is not taking a perpendicular line to the property or anything.
And I see one says Zone X and one says AE9.
Correct. We're in AE9.
All right. So, Nigel, is it impossible for you to be able to expand the house?
Well, no, it's not if you say yes. But I just
Hi, this is Elizabeth Gleish. We're the owners of the property. Just to let you know that we're here.
Okay, no problem. We'll get to you in just a minute.
Sure,
Okay, just let Nigel finish up. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Where am I? No, it's not impossible. Like I said, I'll still be coming back asking for area relief. And can everyone see the survey or not on their screen that they have?
Hold on, I can bring the survey back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you see along where it says proposed attic conversion, and to the right of that, you'll see 44.9 feet and 37.1 feet. Almost practically on the 37.1 feet is the total side yard setback of 60 feet for R40. So anything that I'll be coming south of that, I'll be encroaching on.
No, we're not concerned about that, really.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to. That's where I am. That's my demarcation. I just want to let you know.
But if on the other hand, there were wetlands limitations for you to do anything.
Yeah, you know what?
A consideration.
I have to bite my tongue because when I did speak with Mr. Shea last year, he told me, and again, I will have to get this was verbal from him when he pulled up the screen in on the GIS. Where am I? On lot 24.3, he told me that there was some sort of wetlands on that property,
Is that
which
a
is
huge
the
lot?
property to the south
Okay.
of that.
Okay, but we don't know exactly where it is and how far away it is and what
No,
limitations
I
are.
believe it's a clump of Phragmites, from what I remember when I was out there, and I can't remember. It might be 6 feet diameter, 8 feet diameter. That's roughly what it is.
So we're going to hear from the owner in a couple of minutes. That's fine. But I just want to mention the reason for the scrutiny
Okay.
of this type of application is because town code allows 2 stories of habitable living space. Lots of people have attics. We do not want to get 3,000 applications for people making their attics into habitable living space in the next year. We don't want that, okay? And so absent a unique circumstance on a lot that can differentiate it from a lot of the houses in the area, that's what the concern is to me. And just speaking for myself, that's where it is.
Okay.
I understand that it's an expense putting sprinklers in. I appreciate the fact that sometimes people, have limitations on their property, but looking at this survey, nothing jumped out at me as prohibiting an addition as opposed to going into the attic with habitable living space. So that's where I'm coming from. But if you can tell me that there are no other options, then I think that I'll think about it a little bit differently. I'm not even saying then that necessarily I would be in support. But anyway,
okay.
That's where I'm coming from.
The only thing, like I said, would be what Mr. Shea told me, that there was wetlands on the lot next door.
Well, I think you have to get more information from Mr. Shea.
Okay.
It seems very
Yep.
obscure.
In the meantime, I know that the owner is waiting, the applicant is waiting to be heard. So
But I have one more question. Would there be any challenges making an addition? You said it's in a flood zone. So would there be any challenges to an addition being FEMA compliant with the existing house?
Yes, there's a whole lot of issues. Have you got the survey in front of you, Ms. Garvin?
Yeah, I have the survey.
Well, if you look at the where it has the Zone X and the AE9 line.
Yep, up at the top.
Okay. And see where it says chimney on the back by the backwood deck. There's an annotation on the.
Yep, down here.
That the septic system is all in there.
Okay, well, I mean, that's a hardship right there. If we're talking about expansion, I'm just wondering, where it could be and what would be the challenges to that.
I mean, the only place to put it would be on the south, but then the challenge is with this clump of wetlands that's on the property next door.
yeah, and the question is what the measurement is, and it may be that the wetlands prohibit it, and it may be that the wetlands don't prohibit it. We don't know yet.
And then maybe the people have to do without a recreation room. I mean, it's not like a kitchen. It's a recreation room. And it sounds very nice, but it's not like a basic necessity.
Yeah, but this is also a pretty small house, at least from the looks of it. How many square feet is it, Nigel?
I can only give you an approximate. Is that good?
Sure.
4 times 30 is equal. So 1,600. So say 3,200. But if you take out the stair again, you're probably looking at and that would be 210 by 120, 32, 120, 32, minus 120, approximately 3,000 square feet.
Okay, well, it's not a tiny house, but it's not a huge house either.
And no, it's not. And when I say 3,000, I mean, it doesn't sound small, but when you look at the actual spaces that you do have, it's pretty compact.
How many bedrooms?
3,000 sounds like a pretty large house to me.
I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean, that's all personal about how people big they want their houses.
Everything is perspective.
It has 4 bedrooms Wait 2 minutes. It has
One
4
of those
bedrooms.
bedrooms, one of those four, I guess all those 4 bedrooms are being used, so none of them can be used for recreation.
Correct, they are being, there's the master bedroom plus 3.
Okay.
My client has 3 children now.
Okay.
And they're all small. Who knows what's going to happen in the future, whether there's more. And let me just give you an average so that 3,000 sounds like a lot. One of these bedrooms is 11 feet wide by 14 foot 6, 10 feet wide by 15 feet, and 10 foot 3 maybe by 15 foot 6. So
That sounds pretty big to me.
A 10 foot wide bedroom is not a very wide bedroom.
Yeah, well,
If you stick a twin bed in there, you're looking at 4 foot 6. Stick 3 feet either side, that's 6 feet. That's 10 foot 6. That's not a large bedroom. I mean, it's not. If you put.
but of course, the issue of the size of the bedroom is not really the issue before us. So.
No, it's not. But I want to. I mean, the question was about the 3,000 square feet. Yeah, it sounds exorbitant to have a 3,000 square foot house.
We never got any plans of the interior of the house.
There might be the original set. Yeah, there might be original in the file, but the board doesn't have the smaller ones.
I believe I submitted I believe 2 copies of the 18 by 24, and I did reduce them, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I have no doubt, Nigel, that they were submitted in the file. We just didn't get copies.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so
Can we hear from the applicant? She might not even want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, she might not even. It might not be cost effective. She might not want to do it, in addition. So.
Okay. Well.
So really, I'm to basically gather the information for the wetland next door and how far it is from the.
Yeah, I mean, I think in order to evaluate this, we need to know what the options are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wetland on lot next door. Okay.
In the meantime, if the applicant's still on?
Okay. Do I have to mute myself for someone else to speak, or what do I do?
Oh, nope.
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope.
Is that Kiwi?
Yeah.
All right, we're waiting for the applicant to unmute.
Who is it? Kiwi.
Yep.
Oh. Okay, sorry, I'm here.
Okay, very good. We can hear you, but we can't see you just yet. So you might.
Do you want to? I mean, okay, I can turn it on.
Okay, yes, please.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. All right. So I just have to.
This is how open plan it is, by the way.
Okay. So I just have to swear you in.
Okay.
So if you can state your name and address, please.
Elizabeth Gleish, number 10 Corwin Lane, Hampton Bays.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, Elizabeth, maybe you can give us your comments.
Just in terms of expanding the house outwards, we really don't want to annoy the neighbours. Like, it's a very small community. There's a lot of small houses here. It's a very friendly, tight-knit community of a lot of people who live here year-round. And expanding the house outwards is quite an impact. There's a planning application currently for 2 houses on Corwin Lane opposite us, which has caused a lot of negative discussion in our community because it's taking away, I mean, one of them's right on the wetlands. And I was trying to find the plans today to discuss, but I couldn't find them on the website. I don't know how big they're going to be, but that's properly in the wetland. It's going to knock down a lot of the plant life, and so we going out. So extending the house outwards, we wouldn't do because it disturbs. It's encroaching towards the wetlands, and it's disturbing all of the layout of the neighbourhood, which already is quite tight with houses. We're very close to the boat ramp. There's quite a lot of traffic, and there's always just empty attic space above us. We have 3 small children, and who are very small bedrooms each. So there's nowhere to go for like a guest room. Not that we want to do a guest room, but I'm just saying like to put toys and living space up just seems like it seems like an obvious idea to us. When there's this huge empty, like already standing height attic that's just unused, apart from, you know, a couple of bits of garden furniture.
Well, Elizabeth, it may be a neat idea for about 5,000 more people in this town.
Yeah.
We start granting relief for attics as habitable living space. I don't know if I understand you're looking to try to not disturb the neighbors, but the problem is what you're looking to do is going to create an issue in terms of what this board does and how it does it.
Right, but it's particularly in view of the wetlands and the sanctity of this road and this area, that it's not building outwards or doing any more building work apart from internal. That's really what we're trying to consider.
Okay. Well, I don't think, my impression of it right now is there are not 4 votes in support right now of what you're looking to do. So what we're trying to do at this point is to, before we decide what to do, you know, at the end of the day, is to figure out what the options are.
Right.
So if the option of doing what I had suggested, which is doing an addition, is not an option at all, that's something for us to consider. But we don't know one way or another whether that's even a possibility. I know you don't want to do it. But if we found out, for example, that because of the wetlands boundary, you can't do it, then that's something we want to know before we decide what to do here.
Fine, so we can speak to the wetlands people and ask them their opinion. I mean, yeah, I mean, the amount of discussion we had to have, we were told we had to move the shed that was already in existence when we bought the house. There was a shed that was not in an appropriate place. So we had to move the shed, and the amount of toing and froing we had to do with the wetlands people just to get our new shed approved was substantial. So they may very well take issue with us expanding the house. And now I hope so. I hope they do.
That would be important for us to know in making our decision, and also how close it is, because that could be an actual difficulty that would prevent an expansion or an alternative location for this, which could help us get to a decision which may be favorable for you. So like we need some more information to be able to fully analyze the situation. So that could only help you, in my opinion, in terms of, we're not asking you to go to them for a permit, but just to clarify where that wetland is. And if that restricts the area where you could do an addition to the house, then you may not have an alternative to what you're asking for, which would be a benefit to your application.
Right. So we'll try and get something from writing in there from them. And also I'll try and find out from whatever department it is in the town hall about what's going on with the applications opposite us, which is definitely on a wetland, and what their plans are, which may impact our hopes. We'll see.
Okay. More information is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
So we're gonna wait to get more information.
Okay.
First.
Right. Well, it's not a flat no, so that's positive.
Well,
it's a wait and see. Okay.
We try to be fair, but just so you understand that's where I came from. This reviewing the application, kind of jumped out, because really, usually, most of the time, only under pretty unique circumstances do we grant this type of relief. And can you correct that in a few instances, just a few, we granted relief for different reasons, and each of them was, I think, kind of unique in a different way. But in any case, I think starting out by gathering more information would be
okay. There was one more point that a lot of the houses around here have basements, and we are not allowed a basement, so we can't go down either.
Okay, that's a consideration.
They're in a flood zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But there are houses kind of almost opposite us that are just whatever on a slight incline that do go down, and we can't.
Okay. All right. Anything else you wanted to tell us?
No, that's all.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. If not, I want to ask if there is anyone from the public who would like to be heard and is waiting on Zoom in connection with the application of Gleich for, this is property located at 10 Corwin Lane in Hampton Bays. If you're waiting on Zoom to be heard, this will be the time.
I see none.
None? Okay. So Nigel, the next thing is our calendar in terms of when you can come back. Unfortunately, July is packed. So we really don't have room on our agenda until our August 6th meeting.
And so you would want the information the middle of July latest?
That would be great, so we can review it before.
Yeah. Okay. And okay, I'll just get everything to Candace and then she distributes like normal. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, such as it is normal.
No.
You know, if we were in the town boardroom, we'd be passing around the plans, you know, it'd be nice and easy, but nope, that's not how it is right now.
Well, hopefully we'll be back by then. This is not good.
Yep, I know. But we hope so.
Well, thank you for your time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members, and I'll get the information that I can to you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Brian, do you want to make the motion?
I have a motion that we adjourn this application for all purposes until our August 6th date.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Assessor.
Aye.
Mr. Hahn.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. I would like to take a short break before we keep going. It's been 2 hours.
Sure.
Good for that?
Yep.
Okay, so we will take a short break. Okay. Okay, we are back on.
Okay, number 9 on tonight's agenda. J. Hancock. Property 22 Squiretown Road, Suffolk County Tax Map 900, 6-2-10.2. Decision on determination on interpretation law and map that the size in proportion to the main dwelling and its use. In addition, applicant requests relief from Town Code Section 33084D pyramid height for an encroachment in the amount of 1,690 cubic feet for a proposed detached garage on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction.
Okay. Yes, you're here on behalf of this application as well. Whoever's here just have to swear them in unless they're an attorney.
Lou, is that you?
Yes. Okay. I just have to swear you in again. If you can state your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, this is Liu. I'm the architect. Address is 70 Main Street in Southampton.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
These are the
tell us about the application.
These are my clients. They would probably want to talk later, so
I can swear your clients in as well. Gentlemen, if you want to also state your names and addresses, if you could, raise your right hand.
Joseph Hancock, 22 Squiretown Road, Hampton Bays.
Okay. And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. And sir?
Philip Hancock, 81 McGregor Drive, Southampton.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
Do you want me to bring up the survey or no?
I can bring it up if I can share the screen.
Okay.
Let me share the screen.
Okay, it's up to you.
Am I sharing now?
Yep.
Okie dokie. Okay, so this is the survey of the existing lot. It's a one-story frame house and a one-story garage with a building in the back. This is Joseph inherited from his grandfather, and it's one story, and they don't intend to make it bigger. But Joseph enjoyed to tour on his boat and his car. So therefore, when we design the garage, it's actually you know, in proportion with the house, it is bigger. So it is big. And we look at the existing garage, it is 2.3 from the lot line on this side, and probably 2.7. When I was measuring on the CAD, it's 2.7 on this side. And when we designed this house, this garage, we pulled it away from the lot line. So here is a lot line 7.58 in the front and 9.7 in the back. Because he needs to hold his boat back and forth, we really cannot shift it any further. This is almost the furthest we can shift, you know, so that he can still pull through this driveway into this garage. The garage, its existing garage, looks like this, and has a bathroom in the back. There's a storage, and in the front it's the garage, and then it has the pyramid in penetration of 1690. And so when we did the new design, this is where the boat's gonna go in, and that's where the car are gonna go in. And we try to make it a shallower pitch so that we will be able to still meet the maximum roof height for the accessory structure. And we also maintain the same amount of cubic feet penetration, just like we didn't really penetrate more than it was there right now. And you two want to do some presentation? You want to say something?
I mean, I'm a lifelong resident of the community, and I enjoy, you know, maintaining my boat, my car, and I just like to get out of the sight of my neighbors. And I think it would be an improvement to the area.
Yeah, I think it's like it's not allowed. Is it allowed to park the boat in front of the house? Yeah, so it is a little hardship that he has no place to put his boat.
What's the square footage of the residence and the square footage of the proposed garage?
It's right on the survey.
But I think it's written somewhere.
The house is 1188,
1188 is a house.
and the former garage is 660.
The garage is 1134.
But you're asking for the main residence, the house, right?
Yeah, I just want to see the percentage of the two sizes. It's almost 100%.
Yeah, I can figure it out right now. Oh, hold on 1 second.
It comes to almost 90%.
Yeah, because you know they have no intention to make the house any bigger. You know, you could theoretically build a much bigger house, but they don't want to. They just want to keep their house as it is. And then there's a need for the boat. The house itself is like about 1,200 square foot.
Yeah. Okay.
1188.
1188. So here's the thing. Okay.
Excuse me. It's more than 90%, maybe 95%.
Right. So here's the thing about the application. Okay. What happens with applications for accessory buildings that are greater than 25% of the size of primary structures is that less than 25% of the size of the primary structure, the building department deems it to be a subordinate incidental structure. If it's greater than 25%, even though it doesn't state this in the zoning code, that the building department will instead send it to us to make a determination as to whether the subordinate structure is in fact subordinate. So the reason that we were asking about the percentages is because one of the factors that we look at is the size of the existing residence and the proposed structure. In this case, a garage that I guess is going to store both. And what we have is we have a percentage that's almost, well, basically almost the same. So we have to, in order to grant the relief, we would have to make a determination that this garage, as an accessory structure that is the same size essentially as the house, is a subordinate structure. And I, as one board member speaking for myself, I'm not inclined to go there. I instead prefer that people, if they're looking for additional space, that they have multiple accessory structures as opposed to one that is so large. In this circumstance, I do have to say that existing house is modest in size, so that's, you know, driving some of the issue here. But that's what the concern is. And we had an application in the last meeting that was had this close kind of percentage. So I don't know where other members of the board stand on this. I'm generally anything that's over 50% of the size of the primary residence, I'm concerned about in terms of us granting relief. I take each case as it goes, but that's where I stand, about this. So right now, I'm speaking for myself. I'm not in favor of this, but for that reason.
I would like to say I'm not in favor of it, and you don't have to keep a boat in a garage. I don't know too many people who keep their boats in garages. So since it's almost the size of the house, I would definitely be a no on this.
I understand the purpose of what the applicant's trying to do here. Joseph, would you look at it from a two separate structure possibility?
I don't know how beneficial that would be. Break up the space, because you need the large space to be able to park the boat inside of it, and then to have, it would kind of, I think it would just look cluttered.
Yeah. Is there an issue with using a boatyard? Is that not something that's possible?
It's just kind of, like you have people going for tennis courts and pools. I don't play tennis. I don't, I'm not a swimming enthusiast. I enjoy, maintaining my boat, and, it's something that I, rebuilding them, customizing them, stuff like that. It's nice to do from the, out of the elements and at the comfort of your own home.
Let me ask this. Can you connect this to the house in any way?
Yeah, we could.
If you connect it to the house, then you wouldn't need this relief from us, and it could be this size as long as you connect it to the house.
Correct.
Would a tunnel, if it connected the foundations, would that be considered connected?
You'd have to check with the building department.
I believe in the building department, when we are connected with some kind of structure that's heated,
that's
it
correct.
Considered a living space.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
so would you have any? So we are seeking two relief. One is the pyramid. The other one is, the size that is subordinate to the main structure. If we connect the house, then it's one big building. Would the pyramid relief a problem for you?
Well, as you mentioned in the beginning, there's already existing pyramid encroachment, right? So you're not really expanding on that from what you said. So I'd be surprised if there was an issue with, maintaining your existing pyramid encroachment with that. So I think you'd be okay there.
Okay, because that's the only way to pull the boat in. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I think you should investigate the possibility of you should investigate the possibility of connecting this to the house.
Yeah, that would really solve the problem, I think.
That's a good solution.
Yeah.
Very good.
How big are the existing structures that are there though? Like how big is, when you brought up that other survey, how big is the garage in the building that's attached to that?
660 the existing garage and 1,200 for the house.
But isn't there something that's attached to the existing garage on that survey?
Yeah, there is a storage that's in the back of the garage, the existing, right? I'll bring up. This is the existing garage, and then in the back there's a storage space.
Oh, but so that whole thing is 660.
The shed is 167 feet. It's written right on the bottom of the survey.
It says 66668.
What?
Okay.
167, is that what you have?
That's for the shed. Okay.
Oh, this the back is a garden shed?
No, there's an additional garage.
Oh, there is something else that, here, this one.
That's 167.
That shed, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, we're basing this on the percentages on the survey. So if there's something inaccurate about those percentages, that would be something we would want to know. But otherwise, you know, I think the direction that we're going is for you to explore the possibility of connecting the existing residence and the proposed structure.
Or in alternative, make 2 different structures.
Can we,
To accessory, yeah.
if we connect the house like that with a, you know, a long breezeway, would that be okay?
You got to check with the building department.
Okay, all right.
So shall we put it over, Adam?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Any other questions from members of the board?
No.
Is there anyone from the public who's waiting to be heard on the Zoom for the application of Hancock for 22 Squiretown Road in Hampton Bays? If you're waiting, this would be the time to go on the site with us.
I see none.
See none. Okay. All right. And
Would,
then
okay, go ahead.
and the other thing is our schedule. So the earliest next date we really have is August 6th.
Okay.
They might not even need any relief, so, right?
Well, I think they're going to need pyramid relief.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to need pyramid relief. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Okay, so is August 6th enough time for you?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Second that motion.
Keep this open for till we'll return on August 6th. This motion.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, you have a second.
Second.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Mr. Assessor.
Aye.
Mr. Hahn.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you all. Appreciate your comments.
For 10 on tonight's application agenda is the application of German Rivera, 577 East Montauk Highway, Shinnecock Hills. Tax map number 900-232-1-20. Applicant requests relief from Town Code Section 330-84D pyramid height for an encroachment in the amount of 115 cubic feet for a proposed second-story addition to an existing dwelling on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Looking for Linda Ruisi.
Linda, are you on, or is someone else on to present this application? Well,
Over here.
give it another minute.
Is someone standing next to an ice cream truck?
I am.
Okay, let's second call that matter.
Yep, second call.
Number 11 on tonight's agenda, 73 Cliff LLC. Property is located at 73 Cliff Road, Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-268-1-21. Applicant requests relief from Town Code Section 33011, Residential District Table of Dimensional Regulations. Principal rear yard setback 30.3 feet or 60 feet is required for a proposed garage addition to a dwelling under construction and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction.
Anyone here to present the application?
Linda Riley, can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Linda. We just can't see you, at least not yet.
Okay.
There you are.
Now can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, good. This is a pretty straightforward application. it's a corner lot, so it has two front yard, wrong survey.
Yep, I'm looking for it.
So it's a corner lot at the corner of Lincliffe Road and Wakeman. And Wakeman is a fairly busy road. The houses along Lincliffe Road are all oriented toward Lincliffe. And the other houses along the road are similarly sized and are similarly improved. This is a relatively modest, very modest, one-story ranch house. It's a new house being constructed right now. And they want to add a garage. I just want to point out one thing. The survey that's in front of you and on the screen right now has been changed.
Yes, we have a revised survey.
Revised survey. It doesn't change the relief that we're looking for at all. I just want to make sure the right survey gets referenced in the decisions.
Okay, what's the revision on it?
The revision on it is that the garage was moved so that the rear wall of the garage lines up with the rear wall of the house.
Okay.
Moving the garage a little bit more forward, but it is still 50 feet setback from the road.
Okay.
So it's exact same rear yard setback variance relief request. The rear yard in this case is the westerly property line because the way the building department interprets it. So the way that this house lines up with the other houses on the road is facing Lincliffe Road, which presents a problem because the two long lot lines are considered to be side lot lines, and the rear yard is the west. If you looked at the house next door on the west, that is a similarly situated house, similarly designed house, and across the street, again, across the street, it's a ranch house with a garage. These two houses, the one across the street and this one, will face each other and be pretty much exactly the same. The relief is required because of the two front yards, and also the necessity to have a curb cut that's more than 50 feet from the corner. That was one of the conditions of their subdivision approval. And it is otherwise a conforming lot, and I don't think there's any, they want to leave some space in the functional, what's really going to function is the backyard, for a deck and usual recreational, uses. The garage next door is actually on the west, is actually closer to the lot line than this one will be. So it's in keeping with the character of the neighborhood, and it's a modest house, a modest garage, and absolutely the same as the other houses on this road.
I looked at it. I didn't have any issue with it, Linda. I don't know if you heard from any of the neighbors or anything, but you're just
I understand that the neighbors have no objection, but that's what I've heard from my client, but I have no reason not to believe that.
Constrained corner lot. It makes sense in my mind.
I have no problem with it, Linda.
Yep, I have no problem with it.
And I won't belabor.
Very good. Save the time. Thank you.
However, we do have to check if any neighbors are here. Any other questions from members of the board? Okay. If not, I wanted to ask if there's anyone from the public who is waiting to be heard in connection with the application of 73 Lincliffe LLC. This is for 73 Lincliffe Road in Hampton Bays. If you're waiting to be heard on Zoom, this would be the time to unmute and and get on our system.
See none.
You see none? Okay. Helen, it's yours.
The hearing is closed and decision on August 6th. Is that our date?
Yep,
That's
keeping
our
it open for written subs.
Okay.
July 17th. for written subs.
July 17th, you can fit her in?
Yep, for written subs, July 17th.
No.
Sorry. Yeah, we're doing what, July 17th for written subs,
And the decision on August
6th.
6th. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Assessor,
Aye.
Mr. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Hahn.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you so much, Linda.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Number 12 on tonight's agenda, re-advertised applications. Loretta Colombo. Property is 18 Bayview Road in North Sea. Tax map 900-28-2-18. Applicant requests a determination as to whether or not the proposed accessory building, cabana, is a subordinate or incidental building pursuant to Town Code Section 330-5 definitions because of its size in proportion to the main dwelling and its use. In addition, applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the Town Code. 1, for the proposed accessory building cabana, Section 330-11 Residential District Table of Dimensional Regulations, for an accessory distance from street front yard setback of 15 feet, where 50 feet is required from the easterly lot line, Mullen Hill Lane. 2, 330-84D pyramid height for an encroachment in the amount of 120 cubic feet. And 3, 330-76D placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts. And 330-83C yards to allow the cabana to be located within the required front yard for the principal building. And 2, for the proposed swimming pool, 1, Section 330-11 Residential District Table of Dimensional Regulations, for an accessory distance from street setback of 15.8 feet, where 50 feet is required, from the easterly lot line, Mullen Hill Lane. And 2, 330-76D placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts. And Section 330-83C yards to allow the swimming pool to be located within the required front yard for the principal building and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction?
Someone here on behalf of the applicant? Or is the applicant here?
Yes.
I think I can hear someone, but I can't see them.
Oh, okay. I'm unable to start the video for whatever reason. Maybe you can.
Okay, there might be a spot where you can click that will let the video
Okay.
go on. You just take a look, see if it's there.
Okay. Oops. Can you see me?
Well, not yet. And if we can't see you, you can still you can still present the application. Just
Alright. So,
if we could see you, it would be nice.
so my name is Loretta Colombo.
Okay. And Loretta, unless you're an attorney, I have to swear you in.
Yes.
Okay. So what is your address?
18 Bayview Road, Southampton, London 968.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay. If you can tell us about your application.
So I would like to ask a relief to build a cabana and pool at my backyard, which is considered front yard as well, which I didn't know when I bought the property. So I don't think that would affect any neighbors for me because Mullen Hill Lane, which is considered front yard, is only 2 properties located, and it's quite far away from my property. I don't have exact numbers. I mean, how far away they are. So I would request, for an accessory front yard setback from 50 feet to 50 feet to do construction of cabana, and as well 15 instead of 50 feet to 15.8 to build a pool. I don't know what else to add. Just would like my kids to have a pool and pool
Okay.
house.
Oh, and we can see you now.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. All right. So the first thing is that this parcel has is adjacent to 2 roads, which means that it has 2 front yards, and that limits, that it's a constraint on the property, which is a consideration for us. Okay. So the pool being in front yard, well, you have a front yard in front, and you have a front yard. Well, let me see. Okay, this would be two front yards, correct?
Yep.
Yep, that's how I see it. Okay, so pretty much you're limited because of that, and because you're supposed to be putting accessory structures in the rear yard, but you don't really have much of a rear yard. You have 2 side yards and 2 front yards, essentially. The other thing is that I don't know what the size, maybe it's on the survey, the size of the cabana is versus the size of the dwelling. It looks to me like about 1/3 of the size. It's hard to tell. Doesn't look like half the size, but yeah, 1/3 of the size, something like that.
Cabana is total only 540 square foot, and the total area after building cabana, total coverage of the property would be 3,533 square foot in total.
Okay, well, we just need that to be reduced to a percentage, which could be done by your surveyor or another licensed professional.
All right, and I have even here percentage actually.
Just looking to see if it's on the survey.
Allowable percentage of my property is totally it's 4,200 square feet. It's allowable, and here it's only gonna be 3,500. Basically, is below the percentage is allowed to.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking about the percentages is because you're asking us to make a determination as to whether the accessory building is accessory to the principal residence. And one of the factors we consider, just one of them, is the size. So that's why you need to have that information so we know the size. But I think, to me, it's less than half of the size. I wouldn't.
According to these numbers, unless I'm reading them wrong, you can help me. The main dwelling is 1,512 square feet, and the cabana is 1,080 feet. So that's not less than half.
No, I mean, the cabana says it's 18 by 30, so that's definitely 540. I don't know where the house is.
Because I have a second floor here for the cabana. Unless I'm reading a second proposed cabana, first floor, second floor, 540, for a total of 1,080 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't indicate, and thank you for bringing that up, Helen, because the survey doesn't appear that show the cabana as being 2 stories, at least that I can tell.
It's not 2 stories. It's just simple loft on the second floor. It's not second store off. Its total is 540. It's like 30 times 18 is 540 square feet total cabana. There is no second floor.
Well, on the plan that I'm looking at for your cabana, it says first floor plan, second floor plan. So you have 2 different places on the plans that you have given us where it uses first floor and second floor.
Okay, well, we need to know how big the house is and how big the cabana is, the square footage by an architect.
Right. And that information would help us.
Okay.
And, but I also want to know what this, what the cabana is going to be used for in particular. If you can maybe tell us a little bit about that.
So basically, cabana is going to be used basically for the pool. And maybe okay. When you're at pool, it's just a simple use of that.
Okay. Okay.
And simply for the storage for the pool equipment, chairs, and everything else.
Okay. Well, unlike the application we had earlier, this is not 100% of the size, but as Helen indicates, it may be more than 50% of the size.
It's definitely more than 50%.
Yeah, yeah. So we need to know what that number is. Yeah, yeah. But besides that, looking at the other relief, setback relief distance from street 50 feet to 15 feet. I mean, it's going to be looking at the cabana and the patio. They're going to be 15 feet from Mullen Hill Lane. On the one hand, that's a significant reduction. On the other hand, the reduction is from Mullen Hill Lane, not from a property line, that property line to a neighbor. And so the aerial shows, it looks like there are, next to Mullen Hill Lane, it looks like there are other, is there like another driveway or a flag lot on the other side of the street?
Back
Or is there a house on the other side of the street? It's hard to tell from my aerial. I see a house at a distance. Yeah. Because the only impact this proposed cabana and patio would have in terms of the setbacks would be from the neighbor to the, I guess it's a little bit northeast. But to me, looking at the aerial, it looks like the house, the adjacent house is pretty far away.
It is far away.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how far away, but.
Okay. Have you heard from any of your neighbors?
No.
No. Okay. So I'm not sure if any other board members have questions, concerns about this application.
Well, I have concerns about the percentage of the.
Yeah, but we have to get that information.
We need to sort out the percentage.
Yeah.
But concerning the distance of the structures from Mullen Lane, I don't really have an issue. I mean, like you said, it's a street, not somebody's backyard that would be butting up against. So from that part of it, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, me too.
I agree with that.
Okay, so I think we're going to know more when we have the percentage.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is what direction we go in, whether we close it, you just submit that as a written submission, and if it's high, and we're concerned about it, then we have to reopen it. But otherwise,
Well, we already know it's high. It's at least 80%. So
we don't know what the percentage is yet, Helen. Okay, we'll get the percentage when we get the
I'm
percentage.
just basing it on the numbers that she gave us.
Okay, well, let's get it from the person
Okay.
who hires.
No problem.
Okay, and so the question is, depending on how big that number is, Loretta, I don't know whether we want to keep this open or whether we want to close it for written subs. I'm not sure whether other board members are on that.
All right.
We don't really know what that number is.
Is written letter of my architect would satisfy you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So where are the rest of the board members on in terms of how we proceed?
Because it's unknown, I'd rather the applicant come back.
I'd like the applicant to come back with the architect's number so that we can discuss the whole picture.
I'm actually okay either way.
I'm okay with it being a written submission.
I'm okay with written submissions, and if it turns out to be a large percentage, we could reopen it. If we had it tentatively on for a decision on August 6th, we could reopen it if the number was large.
Thank you.
Okay, so 2 and 2. Not at 4, no matter what.
I reversed my decision and say a written sub is okay by me.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I guess it's up to me. Lucky me.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know why it happens that way. Okay. All right. So we'll do written subs, but if the percentage is significant, then we're going to have to reopen. At least from my perspective.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
I mean, we have 2 other board members who aren't participating tonight that may see it differently. But from my perspective, if we have a high percentage, I'm going to be concerned about that and want to reopen.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree. I think, Helen, you're correct in that if the number is large, then we're going to have to revisit it and, really hammer into that. So I
Already
agree
know
on
the
that.
number's large,
It's not, I promise.
but
All right.
if
So
Mr. Grossman needs to see the architect's figures, that's fine with me.
So I'll leave it open for written submissions until July 17th with a decision on for August 6th.
Okay. Did I ask members of the public?
Nope, sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all right. Okay, so any other questions of members of the board? Okay, is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard this evening who's waiting on Zoom for the application of Colombo for 18 Bayview Road in North Sea? If you're waiting on Zoom to be heard, this would be the time to speak with us.
Nope.
Nope, nobody there? Okay, Cornelius.
Written submissions July 17th with a decision on August 6th.
Second.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Who seconded? Was it Jason or Brian?
Brian.
Brian, okay. Mr. DeSessa. Mr. DeSessa.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Hahn.
Aye.
Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you so much, Loretta. Appreciate you being here. Have a good rest of your night.
Okay, number 13 on the agenda this evening, Valerie Siriano, 105 Edgemere Drive in North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-32-1-12. Applicant requests relief from Town Code Section 330-84D, pyramid height, for an encroachment in the amount of 17,659.5 cubic feet for a proposed 2-story dwelling and an encroachment in the amount of 182 cubic feet for the second floor deck on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
You can proceed. This is a re-add.
Daphne Vaughn, Surfside Environmental Planning for the applicant.
Hi, Daphne.
Hi,
Bring you in once again.
I'm back in a different location.
Okay.
So, so this project includes the demolition of the existing one.
Daphne, I have to finish. I'm sorry, I have to finish swearing you in.
Oh,
So-
I was sworn in earlier. Do we need to swear in again?
If we previously swore you in on this particular application.
Oh, no, then okay.
Yeah, we have to, okay. So you can state your name and address again, please.
Daphne Vaughn, Surfside Environmental Planning, 225 Montauk Highway, Mauritius, New York.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yeah, the swearing in doesn't run from one application to another, unfortunately. Okay, can you tell us about the application?
Yes, so this project includes proposed demolition of the existing 1-story residence that has a footprint of 1,193 square feet, and replacement of it in place with a new 2-story modular residence with an entry deck on the south side and expanded 2-story first and second floor decking on the north side. There's no change proposed to the existing frame garage. So the property is located in an R40 zoning district and is non-conforming at 19,190 square feet. The lot, as you can see on this survey, is only 40 feet wide, where 150 feet is required, making it a very long, narrow lot. So this benefits from a pre-existing certificate of occupancy issued in August of 2009 for the existing single-family dwelling and detached garage. The property fronts on Peconic Bay and also contains a functional bulkhead made of concrete, which takes it outside of the jurisdiction from the town and the DEC on that side. However, there is also a freshwater wetland located on the south side of the property that was delineated by my office. The DEC and the Town Environment Division have both issued wetlands permits for portions of this project, as the proposed house location is technically outside of their jurisdictions, but in order to construct it, some disturbance is necessary within their jurisdiction. So this property's been in the Sirignano family for many years. The pre-existing non-conforming structure does not accommodate the needs of the expanding family and requires updating. They wish to minimize the impact to the property by replacing the existing residence with a new two-story modular home with some modest decking. So the existing house is only 2.6 feet from the eastern property line and yields a pyramid nonconformity in the amount of 2,628.48 cubic feet. Sorry. The proposed new structure will require relief from Section 330-84D in the total amount of 17,659.5 cubic feet from both the eastern and western lot lines combined, as well as an additional 182 cubic feet for the proposed second floor deck located on the north side of the structure. When you subtract the pre-existing non-conforming pyramid encroachment from this total, the overall required new pyramid sought at this time is 15,031 cubic feet, well, 0.02, sorry, and the 182 cubic feet for the deck. So the new structure will be in keeping with the character of the neighborhood, as a number of homes located along this stretch of Peconic Bay have been renovated over the past 20 years, many requiring ZBA variances for pyramids. The property will yield total lot coverage of only 9%, where 20% is allowed. It's really difficult to develop this property in compliance with town code due to the very narrow lot width, as well as the environmental constraints. They have installed a new innovative alternative on-site wastewater treatment system for the property, as that, you know, they were able to get a grant for that. The house is otherwise compliant with the height restrictions. So the existing first floor elevation is at 13.3 feet, and they're proposing to raise it 1.7 feet higher than the existing to a 15-foot first floor elevation. It's very close to the adjacent homes, and the builder, who may or may not be on this call, had told me that they are trying to minimize the digging of the foundation into the ground because of the close proximity to the adjacent residences. They don't want to undermine the adjacent homes to prevent any damage. So that's my story.
Okay.
I have a few concerns.
Enormous amount of pyramid relief.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
I have a few concerns. One, if they're building a new house, why aren't they centering it? Because that would make sense in terms of reducing pyramid. Two, it looks like they're elevating the house so they can fit a basement underneath with the basement plans and a walk-down staircase. Three, it looks like it could have been designed in a way to minimize pyramid, in terms of, you know, we're going 5 feet above grade, and then we have 9 feet of floor joist system and attic space. So we're doing a basement, we're doing an attic. I think 9 could work out to minimize that. And I don't think we've ever granted this much relief in an X zone.
Well, you know, as I said, they are constrained because they do have their existing garage there. There's a freshwater wetland on the south side. They can't really expand forward towards Peconic Bay because then they're within wetlands jurisdiction, and they're not going to let them go too close. I mean, they could go forward a little bit, but not tremendously, and that's not in keeping with the neighborhood. Almost that entire stretch, every house is at that setback from the bulkhead. I did take pictures.
I didn't know. I said center on the lot, not move it toward the water.
No, I understand that. I'm not sure. I guess because I really don't know why they didn't center it. if there was any reasoning behind it, or it's just that the existing house is there and they were trying to minimize disturbance by just keeping pretty much the hole that's there, and then expanding upon it to go up.
Well, it's an awful lot of relief, Daphne. And so I think, Brian's expressing, and he's, looked into it, suggestions about getting this number down, because this number is just, it's just way, way over what we typically see, as I'm sure you know.
Right. No, I understand. It's a 40-foot lot. I don't think there's very many 40-foot wide lots in the town.
That's true as well. But there are constraining lots, and we have applications that come in, for large amounts of pyramid relief, and we ask, the applicants to reduce the pyramid relief as much as they possibly can in these circumstances. So I don't necessarily, speaking for myself, see this application as being treated any differently.
I understand.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of the lots along there are, there is a 45-foot wide lot that was granted a 5,400 cubic foot pyramid variance in 2016. But most of the other lots that received pyramid variances were 70 feet wide, 60 feet wide, 80 feet wide. So it's hard to come by a 40-foot wide lot really anywhere in the town.
Yeah. That 5-foot wide lot, 5-foot additionally wide lot received 5,500 cubic feet.
I think that was for Porches. Oh, maybe not. Hold on. No, I think that was for a house. That's right next door, or a couple doors down.
Next door. I believe it was the whole house. I just think it's too much in my mind on pyramid. Something's got to be mitigated.
I mean, one thing that would mitigate it.
I mean, is it a full height basement?
They are showing it as a 7'6" basement ceiling height.
Right. That's why they're out of the ground 5 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it's 2 stories and the fact that it's practically on the property line is going to generate these kinds of numbers.
Right.
Well,
so I think the first.
I guess we're going to, Daphne, you have to talk to your client about making some alterations so that you can reduce the number, and then to something that's more approachable.
I understand. Like I said, they are increasing the first floor elevation by only 1.5 feet from what's existing. It's just a whole second floor. And you're right, that placement at the 2.6 feet is what the bulk of this infringement is.
Right. And you can tell the applicant as well that, they're entitled to keep their application exactly the way it is, but they got to get to 4 in order to get it approved. And so I'm not hearing for votes in favor just yet. That's not where we are, I don't think. Yeah. So.
I understand.
Yep. So I think kicking it around, exploring the options, seeing what can be done in a variety of ways to reduce the pyramid. What I was going to say before is what would also reduce the pyramid is if it wasn't 2-story, if it was just 1 story. But I'm not going to say that you can only have a 1-story residence. But what I am going to say is 15,000 cubic feet of pyramid relief is just way more, way more than we grant in most circumstances. You can find a few that are close to that, but usually on severely unique circumstances. And you can make the argument that this is a unique circumstance as well. But on the other hand, it's right up against the property line. I mean, the purpose of setbacks is to have people not be staring at each other while they're using their property. And while it may be because it's pre-existing non-conforming that you can be that close to the property line, still it's creating a significant pyramidage.
Right.
Yeah. So I would suggest that you have a conversation with your client and see what you can come up with, revised plan, and come back.
Yeah, like it is a modular house, so I don't know if there's much we can do as far as the roof line.
And that's another thing. These modular houses, they may be a bargain, but there's no flexibility there. So that's another thing that maybe want to be pondered is maybe a modular house is not going to work here because of of the gigantic pyramid violation that we resolved. Or maybe there's another type of modular house that's smaller, or it will just fit by its design, fit better without having so much pyramid relief. I don't know, but you and your client could certainly look into that as well.
Yeah, okay, all right. I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from members of the board? Is there anyone from the public who is waiting to be heard on Zoom in connection with the application of Sirignano for property located at 105 Edgemere Drive in North Sea? If you are on Zoom and you would like to speak with us, now would be the time.
I don't think so.
Okay. And Daphne, once again, our problem is our schedule. We're packing in the first meeting in August 6th, because July is so full already.
Okay, well, you sent my other one to that one, so
I did, so.
I'm free, so it's all good.
Okay, so Jason, it's yours.
I'll make the motion to adjourn this application to August 6th, 2020.
Second.
Mr. Hahn.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Assessor.
Aye.
Joe votes aye. Thank you again, Daphne.
Thank you. Take care.
Good night. Take care. Bye.
Okay, modification request. It's favorite. Number 14. Lake Creek Properties LLC, 30 Flanders, the county tax map 900-118-2-8. On July 21st, 2016.
You don't have to read this one.
Okay.
Anybody here for this one?
Is this the McDonald's on Flanders Road?
Yes.
It is.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Members of the Town of Southampton Zoning Board of Appeals, Keith Brown, Brown and Altman LLP, 538 Road Hollow Road, Suite 301 West, Melville, New York, 11747. Can you see me or not?
We can't see you. So if you want to see if there's a button to click.
There you go. Hang on. He just asked. There we go.
There you are. Okay.
Yes.
Very good. All right.
How is everybody this evening?
And you're an attorney?
I am, and I will be brief. We saved the best for last. This is a very simple application. I'm actually not asking for greater relief. I'm asking to modify the previous grant for lesser relief of the sign that's out in front of the McDonald's located on Flanders Road in Riverside, New York. I'm here on behalf of McDonald's Corporation with respect to the prior variance application was approved by this board, decision number D016100, dated July 21st of 2016. The applicant is requesting to amend the prior grant as follows. One, to reduce the sign area from 48 square feet to 33.3 square feet, where no more than 20 square feet is permitted pursuant to Town Code Section 330-131V1. And two, reduce the previously approved height of 17 feet to 13 feet 2 inches, where 7 feet is the maximum height permitted pursuant to Town Code Section 330-131.1V1. In essence, we had an area square footage that was approved at 8 feet wide by 6 feet high. Now we're asking for 6 feet 8 inches wide by 5 feet high. So that's the reduction of the square footage from 48 to 33.3. And the height that we're requesting is a 17 down to 13 feet 2 inches. I saw I'm looking at the illustration. I'm also looking at Google Maps, and the sign that's up in front of the building is the actual size that we're now requesting. So all we're doing tonight is basically legalizing what's been constructed at the lesser size and the lesser height. I think I could dispense with the rest of it since the hour is getting late. If the board has any questions, myself and Jared Jones from Bowler is on the line and can answer any questions.
We're good. I think you're okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm fine with it.
I think. Yeah.
Yep, lesser relief works for me.
Yep. But if Jared wants to talk for a minute, you can feel free.
I don't think so. He's okay.
Good answer.
It'd be a big risk.
I don't think the board wants to hear from me tonight.
There you go. Thank you all very much. We ask that you approve the application as presented.
Okay, all right, thank you. Is there anyone from the public who would like to be heard in connection with the application of Lake Creek Properties LLC? This is McDonald's in Flanders for 30 Flanders Road, Route 24 in Riverside. If you're waiting to be heard on Zoom, this will be the time to let us to speak to us. Charlie, do you see anybody?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. If not, I would move that we close the application until July 17th, and we will have a decision ready at our August. That is closed except for written submissions up until July 17th, and we will have a decision ready at our August 6th meeting.
Second.
Terrific.
Mr. Hahn.
Aye.
Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Josiah.
Aye.
Josiah. Thank you for being here, Keith. Have a good rest of your night.
All right. Thank you, folks. Take care. Stay safe.
Thanks, you too.
Okay, going back to number 10, second call on number 10, German Rivera, 577 East Montauk Highway.
I texted Linda. She was unable to get on the call, so she asked that we adjourn it.
Motion to adjourn to 8/6/2020 for all purposes.
Second.
Mr. Hahn.
Aye.
Mr. Kelly.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Assessor. Mr. Assessor, Brian.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay. Josiah. Well, I think we're done for tonight. Once again, thank you, Katie. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Candace. Even though Candace isn't here, we managed without her. But much better when Candace is here.
Oh, don't say that.
No, it's true. It's true.
Always better when Candace is here.
She did.
It's true. Totally true.
You did a great job, Katie.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, folks.